Alright, I should be live and kicking. Now, I haven't streamed for a very long time, but I think I have everything set up and I even made a nice overlay for you guys. So, I hope everything is working now. I'll just close this, and if anybody is here, you just, could be so nice as to type something into the chat or, make yourself heard otherwise. And my plan is to start either playing a bit of Mono Black in Standard, I have a pretty sweet list for that, or to do an M15 draft. That's pretty much the options. And while we're waiting, I think I'll just try to play a casual vintage match to get started. So let's see if we can find that. Tournament practice with Deathblade, sure. Looks like there's no open matches, so I might have to wait a little bit. But I want to, give everyone a chance to be here, especially if you want to draft, then yeah. I want to start early. Now, let me know how the quality is. How's the sound quality and how is the video quality, resolution and everything. So, I shouldn't vote myself, I guess. I have one vote, alright. So, oh, we're getting there. Nobody likes Mono Black, it seems. If you have other suggestions, let me know. Great, I have a new microphone. Well, since I last streamed. Hey, look, we have an opponent. So, I have some tricks up my sleeve. And I want to show this to you. Let's see if it works. Hey, look at this. We get to see what's happening in the match. Isn't that nice? So, this deck is a vintage deck. I'm not sure if it's particularly good, but it's definitely fun to play. This is my Wasteland proxy, so yeah. Just to get started, a bit of vintage. So I have to monitor this straw poll. I guess I shouldn't have closed it. There it is. 7 votes, so everybody wants to see me draft. Alright, M15 draft, it's gonna be M15 draft, it looks like. Which is great, I like drafting. I don't think I should spell pierce that, especially because I only have one blue spell. So can you read this text below the webcam? I'm trying to show you, I tried to show you the preview window. I was inspired by MJ's tutorial basically. So the idea was that I would show you the, what's it called? The preview window of the cards, but that ended up not being too great, I thought, because, it just switches between cards very often, so it makes for a hectic viewing. But I thought if you could read the text and you can see all the targeting decisions and whatnot. So yeah, maybe that helps. So this is actually not optimal here. I don't have the right mana, clearly. I guess I'll just try to resolve the Mystic. I might be losing here really soon. But this is just the test before we start an M15 draft. So let me just do a quick check. Alright, couple of viewers, not too many, but I mean, maybe they'll come. I thought that was a good idea. You know, if you put it on the main screen, like here, it just takes a lot of space away. But because I have this setup with the column on the right, I thought this would work out. All right, I'm losing horribly here. I have nothing basically. I don't want to waste land. I think opponent has so much mana. All right. I might just concede this after game 1 so that we can get started with drafting. Deck Faden, the greatest thief in the multiverse. It's kind of unfortunate, I really have nothing after the Stoneforge got bolted. To be fair, I know pretty much nothing about this format, so... Alright. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find the M15 drafts. I thought this is where I find them. Limited tournaments, queues. Oh, there we go. And just join this. So what's happening to my vintage game? My opponent is doing stuff and I'm not. Great, so just gonna do a quick tweet. What's my straw poll saying? Yeah, not many more votes, but clearly M15 draft is what's happening. So I need to concede this. Yes, and here we go. So I haven't tried the new setup with drafting yet, which means that you'll have to bear with me while I try to set this up. So my idea was that if I maximize this maybe up to here, then we should be able to see like enough cards. This hides the Witch's Familiar, but this is only relevant for the first pick, so I think this is probably the best setup I can give you. Maybe even like this, but yeah, this is close enough. So what are we doing here? I like Borderland Marauder as an aggressive option. I really like Ajani's Pride-Mare, I think it's quite powerful. And then there's Darkseer Citadel if you really want to go all in on the artifact strategy. I love cheap cards in this format, which is why I'm thinking that I should pick Pride-Mare or Marauder. And yeah, I think Pride-Mate is... It's not Pride-Mate, it's Pride-Mate. Pride-Mate is better with... yeah, white just being a good color, and you can get this incidental life gain, which is kind of sweet. So now the game log is gone, of course, because there is no game log anymore. So I'll show you this picture again. Second pick, Kurt Chieftain. Well, if I had the red Marauder as my first pick, I think I would take that. No, I'm not too convinced if I should just slam this. There's also a Juggernaut, which is always going to be solid. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it's a 5/3 for 4, so that's not bad. Pillar of Light, if I would just want to stuck to white, but there's no reason to just pick white cards here. I think the pick is really between the two uncommons. I don't really see any other card I would pick over it. Kurt Chieftain can be really, really good, but I like to stay open, and I'm getting a good card no matter what here. This is a nice Jace's Ingenuity. Also Paragon of New Dawns, if we think that the white could be happening. Borderland Marauder I almost first pick, but now I'm not too convinced I want to take a red card after passing the Marauder and the Kurt Chieftain. Which cards do I like here? I like the 4 drops except for their cost, basically. They're all powerful cards, but quite expensive, which makes them a bit clunky. This pack is just quite clunky overall. The cards I like the best are actually, once again, the 2 drops, I think. But I wouldn't pick Research Assistant over Jace's Ingenuity. Maybe I can get away with picking the Paragon, but if white is not open, it's just dangerous to pick too many white cards early on. I'm gonna take the red card after all. I don't have to care for my left neighbors too much. Yeah, I like this comment. I'm only in white if I can get a Triplicate Spirits, because then you actually know that white is available. I mean, these cards are good comments. I think that Sungrace Pegasus can be very good. Helios Pilgrim is quite good as well, but you want the Triplicate Spirits and you want to make sure that white is open. So I might be trying to draft an artifact deck after all with the Juggernaut. Even the first pick, Darkseer Citadel, might be something that wheels. So yeah, who knows. Netcaster Spider is great. Scrapyard Mongrel is quite nice if you can get the artifact theme running. And then there's Shrapnel Blast. I don't think that's going to wheel. We're pretty late into the pack already. Now, from a pure power level perspective, I think it's the Pegasus. And if I wanted to go for artifacts, I think it would be the Scrapyard Mongrel. I'm just gonna keep picking cheap cards. I'm fully aware that white might not be open and that I might be forced to switch colors at some point. There's a Forge Devil here. Also Sacred Armory if I want to pick some more artifacts. And that's it. Pretty empty packs, I think. I'm gonna take the Armory. I've wanted to try out artifact themes deck for a while, and this might be the day to do it. So, Mark Bronner I don't like at all. I like Plummet. I like Welkin Turn. I like Divination, but not with the cards that I've drafted. There's also Rogue's Gloves. Now, that would mean I'm really going for artifacts, but it could be that it's the right pick. After that, I can pick up any Aeronaut Tinkerers, and hopefully one of the red cards wheels, one of the artifact cards. Yeah, Legend Advice, you got the reference there. So, Bronze Sable, clearly the pick. I'm heavily committed to brown, to artifacts. They aren't brown anymore. I'm heavily committed to silver. So, yeah, drafting white is not trivial. If there's a Pro Tour and everyone is going like, yeah, white is clearly the best color, how can you draft anything else, blue is garbage, then you join the 8-4 queues and everyone is drafting white, so it just isn't true anymore. I like Razorfoot Griffin, but I love Jalira Master Polymorphist. I'm going to take that as my first blue card as pick 8, but all the artifacts make me want to go blue anyway, and I think that this card has great potential. Alright, Darksteel Citadel, we're doing it. I don't know what we're doing, but we're doing it. Do I actually take Bronze Sable here? It might just be better than a blue card. This is insanity already. I didn't know it would become crazy that quickly. Yeah, Statute of Denial, not super high on my list. None of the other cards are either. I could see Divine Favor be solid with the white cards that I already have. And I don't know which colors I'm going to be, so... Hey, look, a Shrapnel Blast. I think we might just be forced to do it here. Doesn't this look like a beautiful blue-red deck, maybe? I don't know. The Path Mage is weird. It has a good activated ability, but its stats are just horrible for the format. 4 mana, 3/2, I think is really, really bad, because on average you lose 2 mana in the exchange. Yep, we're doing it. Now, this Jalira, I think will be quite potent, and then we just try to sacrifice like 1/1 Alan Walk tokens or the defender that makes it, and get like huge guys into play. I don't know if that's gonna work, but that's the plan. Alright, there's Triplicate Spirits hidden at the bottom. And a pretty bad pack for me. So Infernal Fist is playable, clearly. I don't think that I should still be picking white cards, but that might be a mistake. Like, I can easily go white-blue, or even white-red, with the white cards that I already have. And Triplicate Spirits is by far the best card out of this pack. I'm just gonna take it. Now this might seem weird. I'm basically... well, I'm weakening my deck by staying open, but it has advantages, like picking this Cone of Flame that I'm getting past. Casually. That's where Spirits usually is. The Spirit is down in the bottom, or Spirits are low. I don't know what you mean there. So now I have Triplicate Spirits and Cone of Flame, which means that I basically have a deck already, which is awesome because that means we can just try out all kinds of stuff. For example, not playing blue. Whoa, Brood Keeper. Now that's a problem because I don't want to also be red-white auras at the same time as all the artifact shenanigans are happening. On the other hand, Brood Keeper is absolutely insane. It's just through the roof. So I think it's Brood Keeper or Raise the Alarm or maybe Aeronauts Tinkerer because we've basically drafted the blue artifact decks. So this is probably the decision point. I mean, Rogue's Gloves are probably my weakest card if I don't pick up evasive creatures, but Bronze Sables and Sacred Armory are just fine in any deck. So I probably have to take the Brood Keeper. I got the Cone of Flame, so I want to be red, and I have at least a Divine Favor. Yeah. Well, I'm not a big fan of Vulcan Turn. I think it's solid, but not amazing. This is an easy Forge Devil. Divine Favor is good, but yeah, Forge Devil it is. Alright, we're getting some sweet cards here in white, and blue isn't really open, so I'm gonna hide the, what's it called, Jalira. Devouring Light is competing with Oresco's Swiftclaw here. I actually like the Devouring Light as a catch-all removal, and I have so many 2-drops that the Swiftclaw isn't too important. Another Swiftclaw, Erase the Alarm, and a Constricting Sliver. Constricting Sliver is quite expensive. No auras either. Not sure what to take here. I have the feeling that the Swiftclaws aren't really going to be good in my deck. Raise the Alarm is usually great. I mean, it trades so favorably. I'm just not sure if I should pick a more expensive card to have a better late game. Because my late game is pretty much non-existent. I've played against the Sliver and it was always quite tough to beat. Yeah, I'm going with a 6-drop. It's not really up my alley, but I think it's the right thing to do. Sanctified Charge is great, but I'm picking Heliod's Pilgrim here. I already have a Divine Favor and the Brood Keeper, so I really want to make this work. Also, my deck isn't really a Sanctified Charge deck. Razorfoot Griffin or Selfless Cathar. I think the Griffin is sufficiently stronger. And now, yeah, now the things just aren't there anymore. Let's take an artifact. Alright, we got some viewers. A couple. You can retweet my tweet if you want more players to watch, more people to watch. My idea was that the Japanese WMCQ was finished, and that we could maybe get in a quick draft or maybe two. Yes, Cathar is great in the Convoke, Triplicate Spirit, Sanctified Charge deck, but my deck isn't really turning out to be that kind of deck. I think I'll have to play longer games with this deck. And that's why I want each of my cards to be good individually. Now some of them will need a little bit of help, but that's okay. I mean, if Forge Devil kills a creature, then I'm fine putting a Divine Favor onto it. I'm not really losing out on card advantage. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really looked at the changes with Twitch and archiving and everything, but I think as long as I don't play music, which is kind of difficult in Germany anyway, from copyright laws and so on, then I should be able to archive these. I'm also not only streaming, but also recording them, this thing here. So yeah, I see no issues basically with making this available. I'm planning to just have this on YouTube as well. I mean, my YouTube channel is pretty much a wasteland, except it's worthless, and I'll just upload it. So yeah, there's a Triplicate Spirits, also Pridemate and Juggernaut again. Just kind of sweet. Forge Devil, Rummaging Golem. We might actually reveal something out of this pack. I'm just slamming the second Spirits. And now cheap cards like this Raise the Alarm are a lot better. I would have loved to get the Pridemate Soulmender combo, but I'm not passing a Raise the Alarm for that. I think that M15 is really nice. It's... how do I say this? It's sufficiently complex to make for interesting gameplay, while keeping the overall complexity or the complexity of individual cards like these at a nice level for everyone to enjoy, basically. I think that there is a lot of play to the games. Even though it can be kind of brutal with especially cards like this, Triplicate Spirits, and Convoke in general, but that's perfectly fine. I would want to take Grand Clock here because I love Grand Clock, but it doesn't really feel like the right card for this deck. But the question is if Krenko's Enforcer is really... I mean, Krenko's Enforcer is a creature, which is kind of an advantage already, and it might be unblockable. It's double red, so I'm not super stoked to have it. But yeah, I don't think that this is a Grand Clock deck. And a third Divine Favor doesn't seem reasonable. Maybe a Torch Fiend. The ability is surprisingly relevant. Yeah, I don't need Solemn Offering if I'm picking up a Torch Fiend. There's even the Install Artifact. We could have had it all. So this is Midnight Guard or Soulmender. I think Soulmender might be stronger. I have an Ajani's Pridemate. I might be wheeling one. And I have two Triplicate Spirits. And yeah, I think I'm picking a Willforged Golem here. Kind of fits into my overall strategy better than the other cards do. Whew. Meteorite, Wall of Essence, Evolving Wilds, or another Soulmender. I might just want another Soulmender. Like I said, it fits perfectly into what I'm trying to do. And I have the combo. Hopefully I can find space in my deck for all of these cards. I have so many nice cards now that I don't really know which ones I'll be able to play. I don't want all the Bronze Sables, I think. Oppressive Race, I don't like very much. Rummaging Goblin is fine. Not amazing, but fine. So, yep. Everything seems to be working, which is great. I have to thank MJ, Michael Jacob, for inspiring me to stream again. Well, that and the constant nagging in the Twitch chat rooms, in whatever Twitch chat room I entered. But MJ had this tutorial video. Now, I knew most of this stuff, but I hadn't used OBS before. I had used XSplit, and I was just hesitant to, well, do the work of preparing everything, creating an overlay, and so on. So when I watched the videos that he made, I realized that I really should be streaming again, and yeah, here we go. That's it. I'm gonna go with an Evolving Wilds. I don't think that Dark Citadel is making it, and Shrapnel Blast might also not be in the deck ultimately. So having a bit of mana consistency doesn't hurt. Also, I somehow will be forced to play my auras because of the Brood Keeper and the Heliod's Pilgrim. Yeah, I'll have to cut a lot of cards. This is 33. And I want most of the expensive cards here. Can cut some of the 3-drops, I guess. I'm taking out the Military Intelligence. I don't think it's particularly good, but I also don't want to play against it. It's just... well, it gives the opponent the potential of not drawing. Hi, MTG Rich. What was the very first pick? There was an Ajani's Pridemate and a Borderland Marauder in the pack, and I picked an Ajani's Pridemate. Not an awesome start to the draft, but I mean, I think that Pridemate is, in a sense, where you want to be in this format from its stats and its ability, so I wasn't unhappy about it. If there's any problems with visibility, it'll just let me know, because I've just set up this overlay, so there might be issues that I need to be made aware of. Alright, I think the cards... well, I like Ephemeral Shields, but it doesn't fit into this deck, so it's out already. Raise the Alarm is basically a creature. Rogue's Gloves, I don't think I have enough evasion for. I kind of need these as my creatures, and they'll be on average a bit cheaper, so which makes my curve look nicer. I think that I'll be cutting some of the 3-drops and probably some of the artifact creatures, which means that Shrapnel Blast is leaving the building. Brawler's Plate is very unexciting by itself. I kind of like Sacred Armory. In a deck like this with so many cheap creatures, it doesn't seem bad to have it, but I have a Brood Keeper and an Heliod's Pilgrim, so I kind of have to run the 3 auras, I feel like. Also, the Pridemate gets stronger with the Divine Favor. There's a lot of reasons to go for that. Now, my first instinct is to just cut the Enforcer to make my mana better. And that way I have as many cheap creatures as possible. Now, cutting an evasive creature doesn't mean that the Sacred Armory gets better. The opposite is the case, of course. I like Bronze Sable as a blocker for Intimidate creatures, but to be fair, it's not great in a deck that wants to put on some amount of pressure. This is 27 cards, so I kind of have to cut 4, which is just going to be difficult. I think my best bet is to cut everything that I don't want to draw, basically. Maybe like this. This still gives me 15 creatures, but I have Raise the Alarm and 2 Triplicate Spirits, so it's an 18 creatures deck. With 5 spells, 23. 3 of them auras, so I have to be a bit careful. But I'm running the Rummaging Goblin, so that I have... that I can recover if somebody blows me out. I think I like this for the main. The only thing that I'm missing is the Sacred Armory. I think that Sacred Armory with so many 1/1s can be kind of absurd. Maybe we can find a card to cut for that. It's not one of the expensive cards. Not as far as I can see. Maybe a Torch Fiend or maybe a Soulmender, but cutting a cheap creature when you have Willforged Golem and 2 Triplicate Spirits seems really bad. I could cut a Divine Favor, just run 2 auras instead of 3. Yeah, I like that better. Now I still have great synergy with the Pridemate. I have 2 Soulmenders and a Divine Favor. And I still have Heliod's Pilgrim, Divine Favor, and Mark Barna, so I have 3 ways to trigger Broodkeeper, which I think is sufficient. It's not great, but it's sufficient. Yeah, I think this is how I should go. Now, my white looks a lot more important than the red, but I shouldn't overdo it. Yeah, this is pretty much a 7 red build. It's pretty much 10-7, but because I have the Evolving Wilds, I have the option to go 10-6-1 or 9-7-1. Yeah, when in doubt, I'm usually going for the distribution that's closer to average, basically, closer to even. I think 9 planes is still fine. Devouring Light has Convoke. Guise of the Morse is my only early white drop, so I'm not super interested in drawing multiple planes. It's usually going to be sufficient. And, well, I do have a Broodkeeper, so red mana is going to be it's going to be something I can use. Let's submit this, and it looks like we can start already. Great, so now it's time to set up the chat again. Oh, it might not start. Let's hope that this works. So what's our deck? It's kind of like red-white spirits, I would say. And let's see what happens if Nissa goes away. Then we get well, with the Evolving Wilds, I like to err on the side of caution. This is not the Pro Tour, so I don't need to get an edge from every single card in my deck. I just need my deck to be more consistent and a bit more powerful than what my opponents are doing to get ahead in the game, really. And the easiest way to lose games is by struggling on mana. So I would much rather sometimes delay my plays for a turn than to have a hand that's not keepable. And that's pretty much it. So because I value my keepable hands much higher than any kind of disadvantage, then that's why I'm playing it like this. Okay, the aggro Divine Favor. Usually not a good play in Core Set in particular. In other formats you can actually do it, and it's not horrible. But here it wouldn't make sense to play this into open mana. Also, I have a Broodkeeper in my hand, so this might actually be the sweeter target. Not that I think that it should survive, but who knows? There's the spider. Devouring Light, okay. So I can Divine Favor to make sure that the Pridemate grows. I can also attack and Devouring Light. If I use the Rummaging Goblin first, I might find a land. And the cost is that I'm forced to discard Forge Devil. Now if I find a land, I get to play Broodkeeper, which is pretty insane. I think I have to do that. There we go. And if that all works out, then and my opponent plays something, it's entirely possible that next turn I'll have Divine Favor to make Ajani's Pridemate and Broodkeeper larger than the spider, while keeping up Devouring Light thanks to Rummaging Goblin, which would be pretty insane. Okay, Foundry Seed Denizen is not killing my guy. Awesome, even a mountain. So casting this, that's the easy part. Okay, this is insane. This is absolutely insane. And I'm not gonna cast. I'm not gonna play the mountain. I want to. I want to discard it into Rummaging Goblin, even if this turn I'm gonna cast Devouring Light, and if I don't have to, then that's fine also. So here I can actually do this now, just in case I draw a 2-drop. Triplicate Spirits. All right. Whoa, this is just insane. What a start. Okay, Thundering Giant. Not attacking, which is smart. Now I need to do the math here. I have the Devouring Light, but if I don't have to cast it, I'd rather not, I think. Broodkeeper is very, very good at this point. It is basically unstoppable. The Dragon trades with the Spider, and the Pridemate also trades with the Thundering Giant. But the Broodkeeper is pretty much where I want to be. Now I think I can offer the trade of Pridemate and Thundering Giant, and Broodkeeper deals damage. And then I hold back the other creatures to cast Triplicate Spirits, while still having Devouring Light mana up. And I don't want to cast Triplicate Spirits first. Now, that would allow me to still Devouring Light, but I don't want to give my opponent the information. There isn't an unreasonable chance that my opponent double blocks the Broodkeeper. I hope that no frames are dropping. My upload speed isn't superb, so it's possible that I need to lower the settings a bit for next time. You should definitely chat more, guys. Wow, this is not being blocked. Okay, this could mean that there is, what's it called, Hunt the Week coming, waiting for me. Not that a single Hunt the Week is gonna beat me. Burning Anger. Yep, that's a pretty good card. I like it. So I have a feeling that I should probably just be quite aggressive here. No, I don't have time to play Pro Tours or the WMCQ this year, which is why I'm leaving this to somebody else to win. Now the Thundering Giant is going to pick off my team, slowly but surely. It's very possible that I can force it to block, however. Yes, of course. I mean, I was going to be aggressive no matter what, but I have no trouble beating this at this stage of the game. Now, the Devouring Light would have been maybe good if my opponent is forced to block. Of course, if he isn't, then, well, it's a bit more difficult. So this was absolutely awesome. I'm happy not to have the red Intimidate guy, and I could use a Shrapnel Blast against this, what's it called, Burning Anger. Yep, continuous effect should be split into multiple layers. I had this yesterday when I played Mono Black Devotion in a daily event, and it always had this message when something with Underworld connections happened. I don't know. Well, actually, I have Constricting Sliver, which is a solution to this aura. The rest of my deck is pretty weak against it. I have a Cone of Flame too, so I think I'm fine. I just need to be aware that it exists. Sacred Armory wouldn't have been too great. Maybe the second Divine Favor is better against red-green. Let's try this. I'm not gonna board in Shrapnel Blast. I think that would be a mistake. Well, to be fair, the rules engine on Magic Online is pretty great. You can't really argue with that. And it's much better to have like some random chat message than something actually not working. So here, this Evolving Waltz will thin my deck. I'm not missing a play because I didn't have 1-drop, and it makes sure that I can cast Geist of the Moors. So just in theory, if I had put a mountain instead of a plains, instead of the Evolving Waltz, then I might be missing my turn 3 Geist of the Moors. Warlike Marauders are pretty much made to attack into Foundry Street Denizen. What I like about M15 is that in each color combination you kind of want to have certain cards you want as many as possible of, and clearly, what's it called? Triplicate Spirits is one of them, but you kind of have to find out which color combinations want which cards, and there's other cards which you really don't want too many of, which is interesting, which makes for interesting drafting. So what's my opponent holding here? It could be Gather Courage, but then my opponent probably would have played a green creature first. Could be the red spell that gives my opponent's creature first strike and +1/+0. I don't think I should block here. Like, I can take some damage from the Foundry Street Denizen. I don't have good blockers for it. That's the reason to maybe block. But I think I'm getting a good exchange if I don't block here. Okay. Wow. Interesting. I could have blocked and then my opponent lightning strikes. Who knows what was happening there. It's possible that my opponent just misclicked, wanted to lightning strike first. Well then I just took 1 extra damage. Krenko's Enforcer against the red-white deck. I'm not so sure about that. I'm debating if I should Divine Favor. Huh, interesting. My opponent taps a green and then decides not to use it. I was thinking about Divine Favoring up the Geist, because if this resolves, then my Geist is just out of reach of most of the cards that my opponent could play. Now, it looks like there will be a Gather Courage soon, so I'm hopefully safe to just Torch Fiend here. And the only reason is that I would be playing around Burning Anger, or what it's called. So I'm pretty much losing to Burning Anger if my opponent just puts it on the Enforcer and starts killing all my guys. Okay, this is great. Awesome. This is why I would play this Divine Favor basically without value. Yeah, this is gonna be the Gather Courage that my opponent was holding. Tapping Shaman of Spring. Just in time. Currently I'm forced to raise the Intimidation. But I could actually put Divine Favor on Forge Devil. If my opponent doesn't have anything in the air, I think I'm just winning this handily. This could be a costly Evolving Wells. Juggernaut. Well, Juggernaut is pretty good as well. I don't think I'm beating a Cone of Flame or anything like that, but don't see how I would. Huh. I could put the Divine Favor on the Juggernaut. I think it's better to wait with it. Like, if my opponent has a Lightning Strike, I run into it. If my opponent doesn't have a removal for the Juggernaut, I'm pretty much winning. I don't think there's an act of aggression in this format. So that was really quick. So, what do we do now? Let's see. This will take forever. I mean, I just beat the AKA demon and the rest are all playing still. Very unfortunate. Good question, Big Blue. I don't know. I saw that the Japanese PDQ was won by a Delver Geist deck that looked pretty sweet. I would look into that. I'm from Aachen, Germany. That is one of the westernmost cities in Germany. So, I don't have a Pauper deck. Well, that's not really firing. There is a Sealed Daily, but we are in a draft already. That wouldn't make much sense. So these aren't great. Now, I wanted to show you my mono black deck. I went 4-0 yesterday with this. It's a bit spicy. I don't know if it's good, but it's a lot of fun. How do I get this to show the cards that I want to show? Like this. Yeah, and I'm even playing 2 Urborgs, 1 Nyktos. Also not only fueling the 4 Nightveil Spectres, but also the 4 Staff of the Death Magus. Maybe I should play a match with that. I'll be back. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this commercial-free break. And hello, Magus. Nice to have some people here joining us. Welcome to this stream. We are actually playing Limited right now. And I have no idea if I can actually show you this deck. Maybe this one? Yeah, that's it. So this is the deck that I've just drafted. And we won so quickly that we need to do something else. So my idea was that I would show you this mono black deck that I have. I see that you like my Power 9. It's actually, this is just the standard setting, I think. I didn't put them there. So what I did with this deck yesterday was I went 2-2 in a daily event, which of course wasn't great, and I think I lost primarily because my turn 1 Thoughtseize was bad. Then I lost in the finals of an 8-man, which was fine. I lost to some Naya Planeswalker deck. And then I went 4-0 in the late daily, which was pretty sweet. I beat Mono Blue twice, the Mirror, and against Rebel Master I won as well. My Rebel Master opponent conceded when I played turn 3 Staff with Urborg in play, and a turn 4 Drown in Sorrow, which cleared his board. So let's just do a quick check. Okay, one other match is done. So the only thing I'm wondering is whether I should be playing a 5-3-2-2, but there's actually no people here. Yeah, so it makes more sense to play a 2-man, I guess. I usually like to play the 8-man more, but if there's just no people in there, it doesn't make sense. This draft deck is really good, I think. The draft felt a bit bumpy, but somehow it all worked out. So guys, now that you're waiting here with me, what do you actually do to pass the time when you're streaming Magic Online and, like, except for just double queuing like crazy, there isn't much you can do, right? Okay, let's see if we can get this to work. This needs to be here. Yeah, I need to always organize these windows. And you should have the chat again. Hey, look at this. Really proud of my overlay. Spent a lot of time to make this. And I'm not a professional in that regard. I think this is a nice hand. I don't really want to play against control, especially not with this hand, but what can you do? So if this is blue-white control, I need to prevent Jace from resolving. I don't know what I'm facing, so I'm gonna wait on the Thoughtseize. Yeah, joining another queue is always the correct way. Okay, I don't know what my opponent is playing. Maybe you know. Could be Burn. Play Hearthstone. Yeah, I don't know. I made this sweet Magic themed overlay, and I think it's going to be used for streaming Magic. I don't think that streaming Hearthstone is bad. The thing is, I would just do a Hearthstone stream if I wanted to stream Hearthstone. Yes, you should all follow me. Subscribe, follow. No, just follow. I don't have anything to subscribe to. But you can follow me on Twitter as well. I will also upload this to YouTube. My username is the same everywhere, so... That's a pack rat. Not great, but what can you do? It is the burn deck. Interesting. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. How can I beat this ever? Maybe with Grey Merchant, if my opponent is forced to kill my creatures one by one? Huh. So if I take the Rebel Master, that's kind of the most scary card, but then my opponent's burn spells almost kill me. If I play Pack Rat here, my opponent just casts the Rebel Master, and that seems really bad. Maybe my opponent is scared of the Pack Rat if I play it, and doesn't cast the Rebel Master. Then I could actually get away with taking Stoke the Flames. How do I beat this hand? Like, I have the Bile-Blight, which is perfect for the Rebel Master. And if I don't play the Pack Rat this turn, my opponent is going to cast the Rebel Master, I think. I would love to take